Hi everybody, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru, coming to you late at night from, yes, not downtown Manila. I'm over the road in downtown Malaysia. I'm over here with a VIP client, going to the food show with him, helping him find some products to put in these he's got these wonderful vending machines we're going to buy from China. So we're off to China next week, so I'm going to be everywhere, all over the place. But I've got a wonderful guest on today, and he's not from Malaysia or China. He's from the States, and his name is, he's got an awesome mission here. His name is William C. Davis. And William's claim to fame is the owner, and the business company name is a simple one, William C. Davis, Professional Speaking and Consulting. Been in the industry for a long time, been doing what he's been doing for forever. And what it is, it's leadership blueprint. He believes leadership is not about titles, but about trust, relationship, and the maturity to lead with integrity. Big word, guys, that integrity. Not everybody's got it, and you can lose it overnight. Over 38 years in corporate America and a lifetime dedicated to building leaders, I commit to empowered individuals and organizations to move them from managed tasks to inspiring people, cultivating environments where teams thrive, not just survive. The trust deepens and excellence becomes the norm. That's a great mission, guys. That's a great mission. Should reach out to this man, have a chat. You never know what he might be able to do for you and you individually or your organizations, not just for organizations. Key achievements or projects, 38 years in senior leadership at Fortune 500 companies. Personal motto or philosophy, leadership is and will always be about humans. And one of my podcast guests the other day, guys, said, be a better human. And think about that, guys. If we're all a better human and we got someone else to be a better human, what an awesome world it would be, right? So be a better human. Today's lesson. Married for 39 years. Wow. Unbelievable, man. You're a lucky man. To his college sweetheart. How good is that? Like it's a fairy tale. Very nice, my friend. I'm getting a few of these lately. I won 51 years yesterday. So you're only at base camp. You've got a long way to go.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the secret? You just say yes, dear, all the time, do you?
I do, honey. You're right. Yes, you're exactly right, honey.
You're right,
I'll get right on that.
You're a smart man. You're a smart man. All right. So it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage William. How are you today, William? Going well?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's my pleasure indeed, my friend. Like I said, we spread the word. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you to pursue your current career path. Where did it all begin?
Actually, it began in high school. I joined a group called Future Business Leaders of America,
Lovely.
and it was a great group. A lot of high school kids across the country got together, and one of the things they taught us as a fundamental was you have to lead, because if you don't lead, there's nobody else to pick up the role. And so it was hey, this is my responsibility type moment. And so I continued on with that in college. And then when I moved out of college into my career, leadership was something that just came very natural to me, and not from a, hey, I'm going to tell you what to do or anything like that. But, when a situation arose, I wanted to be right there front and center to help lead what was going on. And very quickly realized that, I had the ability to have people gravitate to me and would look to me for answers or look to me for leadership. So, becoming a manager then / leader was very important to me. Now, as my career started out, I was like very many young men, very arrogant. What's in it for me? I'm the center of the universe type. But as I got older, and started managing younger people, I realized, what, these folks are looking for guidance. They're looking for mentorship. They're looking for people to, you betcha. And so I started adjusting my leadership profile to where that became my mission. Not quit worrying about me. Let's worry about them. Let's help get them. And, one of my first things I always tell people is, when the end of the day comes and my legacy is written, whatever that amounts to, the one thing I'm going to take the greatest pride in is the success of my people, because that's what I was always wanting to have happen, want them to succeed. I don't care if they bypass me. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
nobody's ever said I'm the smartest guy in the room, Jeff. So I
No,
don't worry about that.
no,
And I've had a bunch of people that have worked for me that have bypassed me. And you know what? That's my greatest accomplishment. At the end of the
absolutely.
day, that's what I want for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a win-win. What's been the most
Yeah.
challenging aspect of your work over the years, and how have you overcome that?
I think the most challenging aspect is trying to get people who don't have that same philosophy to either buy in
Buy-in,
or
yeah.
leave me alone. Yeah, or leave me alone. I'll give you an example. I worked for Bank of America, and we went through a period of time there where we did a lot of transition, bought organizations, and we would have to do report outs to both our execs and the execs of the company we bought. And it was my practice to always have my people do the report outs. They did the work. They know what needs to go on, what has happened, what decisions we made, but they need the exposure, and they want the exposure, and they deserve the exposure. And so I got pulled aside many times and said, "You can't do that." And I'm like, "Why can't I do that?" Well, if you do that, then we have to do that,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Well, they wanted the show lights on them. Well, that's not what we're about. As a
That's right.
leader, show lights are now on your people, and you're there to help make sure they
That's
learn,
right.
they're accomplished, and they feel fulfilled.
Yeah, that's right. I had a guest today. Imagine this. Imagine the burden she went through. I had a lady today, lovely lady. She was 27 years, and she ends up running a big Navy ship, like whatever they call it, battalion, whatever they call them. She was in
Yeah,
charge of a woman, mind you, and for 27 years she ran that ship. Now, that's a leader.
that's a leader. Boy, she's
Amazing, isn't it?
overcoming a lot of she's
Absolutely,
overcoming
a
a lot of
stereotype.
obstacles.
Back,
You
you
bet.
know what it's like back in
Yeah,
the day. Goodness gracious,
yeah,
the woman stayed home with
yeah.
an apron. You know?
Yep, that's
So
right.
how
That's
she ever
right.
made it,
That's
I'll
right.
never know. But what an accomplishment!
Well, yeah, yeah. Particularly in that world,
Yeah, we
that's a
know.
tough
Yeah,
environment.
and
Yeah.
we know it. We know what our mothers went through, right? Anyway, um, tell us, in your opinion, what are the key qualities or skills that have helped contribute to your amazing success?
Well, I think the first thing is the fact that I build relationships, right?
That's
And it
nice. Yeah.
doesn't consist of just the work relationship. I build relationships with people as a human being.
Uh-huh.
And I do that because, you know, while we have to work 8, 10, whatever hours a day,
Yeah.
people also have another life, right?
That's
And
right.
it's not
Balance. Yeah.
work. And yeah, and generally that dictates how they function during the course of the day as what's going on in the rest of their life. So I always felt that it was important to know people well enough that when they came in, and if they were having a bad day, part of my responsibility is help get them through that, right? Not solve the problem for them, but help get them through their day so they
Yeah.
could focus, they could function, and they weren't doing any harm to their career or relationships. So the only way you do that is by getting to know your people on a human basis.
Yeah.
And I did that by building relationships one at a time. And then, where I had a group of people that I was leading, after I did that, then I was able to help navigate how they worked together, how they
Yeah.
meshed
Like
together
stepping stones.
and
You
function. You
yes,
betcha.
I always say to my
You
team,
betcha.
you got the general, then I got some lieutenants, then I got some
Yep.
sergeants, then I got some foot
Yep.
soldiers. And I said, and you foot
Yep.
soldiers, there's no reason why you can't become generals.
You
You know,
betcha.
you've just
You
got to have that
betcha.
desire.
Yeah, and I always felt it was incredibly important to make sure that you don't play favorites.
That's right.
Obviously, I had people I depended upon,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I didn't make them favorites. But the one mantra that I had for all of my teams is we win together, we lose together.
That's
We
right.
never throw anybody under the bus. If
Yeah.
we have a hit that comes to the
Issue, yeah.
team, I take the hit. We work through it together, solve it together, and move
That's right.
forward.
And move on.
Yeah.
That's right. Move on to yesterday. Let's move to the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us, you're amazing what you do, William. How do you stay motivated, as you've done, and continue to innovate in your field?
Well, the motivation comes from the fact that the last 20 years or so, I have been really disappointed in how leadership has morphed, if you will,
Yes.
in not just corporate America, but in life in general. Um, and what really drove it home for me, Jeff, was in 2023, the World Economic Forum came out and said that we had a world leadership crisis. And then November that same year, U.S. News and World Report Harris poll came out, and of the American respondents, 86% said we had a leadership crisis in our society. 78% we said we had a leadership crisis in America's corporate world. And that was exactly what I was seeing, and that was exactly the frustration I was experiencing. And I told my wife, I said, leadership is not difficult if you're focused the right way, if you're in it for the right reason.
That's true.
And I said, there's got to be a way to influence, if not, many people, at least my, world sphere, around where I'm at, to where I can get people to understand, hey guys, we're going the wrong direction in leadership, and these people are telling you this in these polls, and you're not listening, you're not reacting, you're not proactively making changes. And so that, as long as I have the ability to, I want to be able to make that lesson known that, hey, leadership can be done, to where you're also making sure your folks are taken care of, and they're progressing, and they're feeling fulfilled.
Fair enough. Tell us about a recent achievement or project that you're particularly proud of amongst the many that you've done over the years.
Wow. I would say that the latest one that I was participant in is had a young lady that came to me, and she wanted to take over a manager leadership role that was open on my team. And we talked about it, and I had every confidence in her that she could succeed. And it was a big team, but she doubted. And I said, okay, well, let's just work it. Let's give it a shot. It'll work out, trust me. And to see her excel and develop, and where, this was, was 25, this was probably 20, so five years ago. Wow. To see where she went from 20 to 25, because I still keep in touch with her today. I'm so proud of her. I just think she has just done a magnificent job. And she is continuing to hunger and thirst after more knowledge to be a better leader.
Yeah, she's doing it, not just doing this bloody paperwork. I see so many women out there, they go and do course after course after course after course. I say, just implement some of this stuff. You're good enough.
Yes.
That's where they need the encouragement from people like you to step up, step out, step out.
And Jeff, I mean, as much as you have done throughout your career, you've always seen the best leaders are the ones that rely on their instincts and rely on their natural, personality to show. Right? If I'm always relying on book learning, I'm stiff. I'm oftentimes characterized as insincere or not genuine. But if you just, and this is why I always tell people that come to me and say, I want to be a leader. I said, okay, you have to show me that you want to be a leader. Because saying I want to be a leader is totally different than being a leader. You bet.
I said, you got to be authentic. I think you'd agree. You can't be you. They've got to be their authentic self, right? They've got to be authentic.
You bet.
You bet. Be yourself.
Because there's nothing that people will identify more than or quicker than a phony.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I see some of the great leaders, they don't get there by yelling and screaming at people, right?
Exactly right. That's exactly right. And, that's, again, I always tell my people, guys, everything's fixable.
Yeah.
Everything's fixable. And it's so important for leaders to not overreact. When you overreact, when you blow off the steam at your team and all that, you now have, inhibited them from being the best functioning unit that they can be.
I'm not going to tell you what,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have this thing I invented years ago, my personal one when I was in business. And I used to tell my people, listen, my friend, every problem has 10 solutions. They go, 10? I go, yeah. I said, write them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I said, one of them that is the best one. If that
Right.
doesn't work, we've got the second best and the third best,
Yep.
but we will work it out together.
Yep.
There's a
Exactly
solution.
right.
There's a solution for
Exactly
every
right.
problem. You just got to think out
Well,
what they are.
many brains are better than one,
Yeah.
right? Many brains are
And
better than
I
one.
made this mistake for about a good 18 months. I used to get annoyed. I'd be in my office and it'd be about 12 staff, and it'd be knock knock. Jeff, what do I do about this? Jeff, what do I do about that? And I'd sit them down and I'd tell them what to do. And one day I just flipped the coin. It was really funny. I said, "What would you do if I wasn't here?" Oh, I'd go down to 7-Eleven, I'd buy some more coffee. Good idea. Good idea.
Good idea.
You go ahead and do that. So then I got to the point where I tell them, do what you'd do if I wasn't here. And
Right.
they stopped. I
Right.
wasn't trying to blow them off, but they stopped knocking on the door so much, right?
Well, and what you showed them right there is your trust in them was genuine.
Yeah,
Your
that's right.
trust in them is genuine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how do I change the water cooler? Go and
Yeah.
work it out, my friend. I
Yeah.
can come and
Yeah.
show you. If you get stuck, I'll show you. But go and
Right.
try first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go and
Yeah.
try
I
it.
believe you can do it.
Yeah, that's right. I believe in you. Funny thing, I had guys, boys and girls here. I had a motivational speaker. I kid you not. When I was 8, I had my own Tony Robbins, and he'd come in every day when I was about to go to school, and he would come in, great motivation, and he'd come in every day. He'd comb my hair for me. It was my stepfather, and he would say every morning, and he never missed. Right? Oh shit, you're an ugly kid. I went, wow, what a great, what a great motivation, right? And off to school I would go.
Oh, great.
But luckily, fortunately for me, guys, I had a bit, I had self motivation. I didn't need that, I just thought, oh well, that's you've got a problem. I haven't got a problem. You've got a problem.
Yeah.
Even then,
Yeah.
I thought that to myself. I thought you've got a
Yeah.
problem. I don't know what it is, but you've got a problem. I haven't got a problem. I'm off.
Yeah.
I know who I am, but I'm off to school.
Yep.
I used to always laugh about that. That was my first motivational speaker.
Wow.
Yeah. And he always told me, funny, I told you a story earlier how I had so many jobs. He always told me, you'll always be nothing. He was a labourer. He said, you'll always be a labourer. So when I left school, guys, the first thing I did was pick up the paper and I went, labourer, 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 labourer. I did it for years. I went and got labouring jobs, not knowing I was better than that. It was only later in life I twisted the story a bit and I got out of that, because I thought I was a labourer. I thought I was him,
Yeah.
your childhood can make you or break you, guys, but it's up to you. Break free. Trust your gut. If you can do it, you can do it. And reach out to mentors. Get encouragement from people like William. There's people out, and myself. There's people out there who will encourage you to be better. We can all be better, guys. I'm learning every day. Right, I'm 77. I'm never going to stop learning. I joke with people. I tell them I booked the Opera House back in Australia to go and give a seminar when I'm 100. Right, and I hope I'm able to do that. Right,
There you go.
Be a bit of fun.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Come and see the 100-year-old entrepreneur.
Hey, call me and I'll come see you.
Yeah, that's it. We'll go together. Sounds good.
That's right.
Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future?
Well, I started this business about 5 months ago at this point. I retired in May. And what I have found, and you and I have talked about this quite a bit, is the fact that the keynote speaking business is a very competitive process to break into. So I'm still working toward that. I've written a couple of books, both on leadership style. That again are very in tune with my philosophy and the success that I've had. One of the things that I'm the most proud of is the fact over a 38-year career, I had a 90+% retention rate on my teams. Yeah. And some of those were very tough times where we were traveling, for 10 years there 75% of the time. Yeah. So it's again, it's a motivational philosophy of guys. Leadership is deceptively simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It takes work. And I think that's one of the frustrations that I'm really working through, Jeff, as I talk to people is, guys, leadership is the job, right? I always, first book I talked about the difference between leadership, management, and boss. I don't like talking about boss because that's an ego-driven thing that never succeeds. Manager, I always classify as more of a, hey, let's get from A to Z in our day-to-day function or whatever. And managers can be bosses or leaders, and a lot of them are.
Yeah.
But when we talk about pure leadership, my job is not the A to Z management. That's what my team is for. I give them responsibility. I give them trust. I give them the authority to do what they need to do. My responsibility is now helping nurture and grow and help my people be fulfilled, making sure they're getting the accolades that they deserve and so forth. And so, one of the frustrations I have is, people, well, what do you do? You say you're a leader. What do you do? Okay, well, take me out of the equation,
Yeah.
and let's see how this team functions long term,
Yeah.
right? And leadership is, we need to quit looking down on people who are leaders, because they have a function that is critical to our success. It's just like, everybody has a job, right? And everybody's job is important. Everybody's job is critical to the success of the whole. And, we need to quit screwing people when we give them raises and when we give them bonuses. They've deserved it. They earned it. Give it to them, right? And executives need to quit thinking that I'm the one who deserved, $20 million bonus or, a huge raise. Yeah, you may have, but you know what? You wouldn't have succeeded if the people under you hadn't succeeded.
That's right.
First. Yeah. I like the military philosophy where the commanders and all their men eat first. Their men are taken care of first, and then they take care of themselves after the fact. We need to adopt that philosophy in corporations and so forth.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a team effort, guys.
You betcha.
A football team, guys. Imagine a football team with, number one, with no score, and secondly, not everyone can be an attacker. Not everyone can be a defender. You've got to work out what your role is, and your role is important. Your role is to stop the opposition, and then my role is to go and get the goals from the opposition.
Right.
So it's a team effort. I didn't get the goals without you. You gave me the ball.
Yeah. Well, and in that example, the scorer is always the one who gets the accolades, right? They're always a star. They're always spotlighted. But again, to your point, if he didn't have his other teammates around him, he would never succeed.
That's right. Yeah, it's a team effort, and get out there and play the game, guys. Don't be a spectator. Gary's got he's got the bruises. He's got the bruises. He's been out on the field, So you got to get out of the grandstand and get on the field and give us a try and reach out. This man's got a lot of wisdom there. Reach out and have a chat to him. Speaking of that, how can people reach out and find out about your wonderful service and about your leadership skills? What's the best way to reach out and have a chat to you?
I have a website. It's 𝐷avis.net. 𝐷avis.net. A lot of information out there on me, the ability to buy my books, the articles I've written, and then my contact information is on every page.
Fair enough. And the other thing too, we'll be putting William across Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn, our Facebook group, Facebook in general, and of course YouTube with all his social media links. So the links are there, guys. The invitation's there. He's always up for a chat. He knows a lot about what he's talking about, his pet subject. He's done it for so many years. Reach out, have a chat. That's the worst you can do. Tell me, before we wrap it up, tell us a fun fact about yourself that most people do not know.
Oh boy, fun fact about myself most people don't know.
Yeah, you're a champion. What's it do?
Wow, I've been pretty boring through my life, Jeff. Let me think. I grew up on a farm, 1,000-acre farm, and rode horses, but not nearly as much as you would think. We transitioned to motorcycles. When I turned about 10 or 11, because a horse threw Dad off, and it was like, no, we're not doing that anymore. So but that. The sense of urgency that I feel in the things that I do comes from farming, comes from ranching, because you can't procrastinate in that world, or you're going to fail.
Yeah, and think about this, folks. Without the farmers, where would we be? Without these farmers, where would we be? I spoke to an Australian farmer the other day, and he's an incredible man. And he's on a bloody mission, virtually, to save farms and same farmers back in Australia. It's getting tougher every year because the young kids don't want to do it.
Right.
The young kids want to go and play video games and move on. They don't want to get out in
Yeah.
that hot sun and, plough the fields and all that sort of stuff. So, but without them, guys, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, so.
And I would tell you, coming from that background, it is hard work, but I'll tell you, there is nothing more fulfilling than that life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you, my friend, you're a zebra in a world full of horses. You're a giver, not a taker.
Yeah.
So you stand out. But guys, if you want your 15 minutes of fame, just like William's had here, please feel free to reach out. You think about it. I want you to think about this carefully. It costs you $30,000 for a TV commercial if you're a big corporation. And what will happen? People will jump up, go and make a burger, grab a beer, go to the toilet. However, if you have 10 radio spots, what's going to happen? They're going to play them at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when people are asleep, right? Come on, 15 minutes of fame. We'll put you across all the platforms we mentioned. We'll turn the whole thing into a mini movie that's evergreen. That means forever. And you can keep promoting yourself and your wonderful service all over the thing that we today call social media, which William will be doing as well. So, guys, that's it for me. And thanks very much for being on the show. William, you've been awesome, my friend.
Thank you.